du secteur de l'eau et de l'assainissement en Afrique. Donc, voilà un peu ce que je voulais dire et je vous remercie.
OK, merci beaucoup, Janvier, pour cet engagement à travailler avec nous pour renforcer les plateformes de coordination de nos pays. Donc, sans plus tarder, on va continuer avec le programme. Geneviève, euh, on va directement aller au niveau du système informatisé. Comme vous le savez, c'est le dernier processus. Après avoir collecté, validé, analysé les données au niveau national, il faut maintenant entrer ces données-là dans le système. Et vous, en tant que les points focaux, vous êtes les responsables de ce système-là. Au niveau de chaque pays, on va déterminer les identifiants et le mot de passe pour chaque pays pour pouvoir entrer sur le système. Et nous souhaiterons que les deux systèmes, la plateforme du WASSMO et la plateforme du NGOR, puissent être validés ensemble. Donc, on veut recevoir des données du WASSMO et du NGOR pour l'assainissement le même moment. Donc, le délai que nous allons donner pour le 15 juillet, par exemple, pour la date limite de soumission de vos données au niveau de la plateforme, c'est pour les deux systèmes, WASSMO et assainissement. Donc, veuillez travailler en collaboration avec vos collègues du département assainissement et vice-versa pour pouvoir soumettre les données à temps. Ça va nous faciliter aussi le travail pour l'analyse des données. Après cette réunion, je vais partager avec vous le fichier Excel où on a fait les analyses par pays pour ceux qui ont pu assouplir. Là, vous allez voir le type d'erreur qu'on a eu à identifier dans vos données et vous allez pouvoir corriger cela pour cette campagne-là. Donc, je vous remercie vraiment. Je vais passer la parole à ma collègue Geneviève pour le système en ligne. C'est le 15 juillet. On va annoncer cela d'ici la fin.
Yes, thank you very much. I would like us to copy the link to the WASSMO system. If you can take a picture, if you can put it in your browser, I would like us to take a minute to assess the if we go to that URL that we shared, the presentation is working now. If you go to the URL that we're sharing via email, and if you were able to copy it down, this is the home page. This is what you will see when you go to that URL. This is the reporting module. This is what is visible to the entire public. This is where, after the close of a campaign, after the validation of the campaign, after the reports have been generated, this is where the results are published for the general public, for everyone to have access to. So some member states are not aware, but you have all of the information you've entered in times past here. So if you click on this menu link, this menu button, you have the home. The home will always bring you back to the home page wherever you were before. The home button will return you back to the home page. The background link would show up a document that gives you the history of the WASSMO system. And the next tab is the WASSMO indicators, the core indicators and the country profiles. So if you click on map view under WASSMO core indicators, you get to see the information for the indicators represented in a map format. With this information represented, you would be able to choose the year of the information you want to be shown, choose the opacity, so currently it is set to the most recent campaign, which is the 2020 campaign. You can zoom into a particular country. You can zoom into a particular country to see the values. This box here gives you the legend of what the colors mean. And this particular indicator says the hydropower utilization. So this is the legend in percentage. So very low, red. For countries that have red, it shows that the hydropower utilization is 0 to 5%. While for the countries that have blue, it shows that the hydropower utilization is very high, which is greater than or equal to 25%. This is based on the data that was imputed. At the very top here, if you click on this button, this image icon, it allows you to download the map as an image. So if you want to probably reference the report or add it to another document, you can easily download the image of the map as PNG and attach it to your document. For those that are in the academic field and you want to reference any data, you can use these pictures come in handy to show just how well a country is faring or the different countries are faring. The second icon allows you to download the data for an indicator or all the indicators in an Excel format. So you click on the first drop down, you choose the country that you want. The second drop down allows you to choose the indicator that you want to download information for. And the third allows you to choose the year that you want to download the information for. After selecting all of these parameters, if you click on download, it downloads an Excel file to your system, which gives you all of the data in an Excel format. The next icon shows you the data represented in a tabular format, but right there on your screen. So it shows you the percentage for hydropower utilization for the different countries with their colors clearly marked as it is on the map. Now, this is for one indicator. You can choose and select another indicator, and you will notice that the map would change to present the information for that indicator. It has changed, and even the legend has changed. The unit for this particular indicator is USD per meter square, per square meter. So this is how you assess the different information for the different indicators that have been imputed for the different years for WASSMO indicators. The same thing happens when you click on the map view. It's just that this time around for the map view, you get to see the data in tabular, the same thing happens for the tabular view, apologies. If you click on the tabular view, table view, it presents the information in tabular format for each country with the same icons for choosing, downloading, and selecting the years that you want displayed, the information displayed. So the screen is loading. Okay, so it has presented all the indicators this time around on a table and for the particular year or years that we have selected. So the same thing applies when you click on the download data. It allows you to download the data in Excel format. So for instance, for this country, Algeria, for 2017, for 2020, look at the different indicators and the different indicator values. If you click on region overview, the region overview gives you the information for the different indicators according to the regions. It gives you the information for the different indicators according to the regions. So if I click on region overview, it shows me the information for the various regions. The region overview is taking a minute to load because it needs to calculate everything for each countries in the different regions and then displays it. So it also displays the information in tabular format. So when we click on, for instance, East Africa or Central Africa as is already selected, it calculates the information and tells us just how much the different regions are faring for a particular campaign. So it's taking a minute to finish loading. In the meantime, let's state that this WASSMO system is available in English and French. So for our French-speaking colleagues, if you click on the icon at the very top and you select French, it changes the language of the system to French, and all the information is visible in French.
I said, if is it in Portuguese too?
No, not yet. Not yet. But we'll work on it. Yeah. So the information, it's if you click on French, it gives you the language in French. So this is the same information when you click on the AfricaSan and Go indicators. Is that? Oh, my internet. Let's continue, please. It seems my internet is not giving us a shoot. So I already have screenshots of everything. So I will just show from my system what it all looks like. We've gone through this page already, the WASSMO indicators, the AfricaSan indicators, at the top left right hand corner, we've gone through how to choose the language. And also, if you click on this login button, it takes you to the login page for the indicator updating. So in our spare time, we can take our time to go through the different options on the reporting module. So these were all how to download data that I've demonstrated. This is how the download sheet looks like. If you click on the download for the table, this is what it looks like for the table view. And if you click on the info, the icon info, it shows you the information for a particular indicator. We've gone through all of this. This is how it downloads for the table view. For the region overview, it gives you the information in tabular format for each region. So if you want to find out how your region is faring for a particular indicator, this is where you go to region overview. So we also have the country profiles. It shows you the water facts and by the arranged by the different themes and headings. The documents option shows us links. Are we together? Is there a problem? I need us to listen to the presentation. We'll do the practical with your systems, with your credentials after this. But if you do not understand how to even do it or watch me do it, it will be difficult for you to do it on your own later. So we want to do first the presentation, demonstrate how to impute the data, and then we'll now practicalize it on your systems. Everyone here has credentials to the system. So if you don't remember your password, we'll reset your password and you'll be able to try it out yourself. But for this first stage, it is important that we concentrate, watch how to impute the data from a test system, because it's the exact same thing I'm going to demonstrate here that you're going to see on your own system. So after that, you'll be able to do it on your own. Or if you're trying to do it on your own right now while I'm presenting, you may miss out on some very important information. These are all the links, the different aspects of the reporting site. It's available anytime. So all you need to do is access the link and just keep trying your hands on it. You can't edit anything, so you really cannot spoil anything, but you can find as much information as you require there. And this is the updating module. I'm going to So to access the indicator updating module on the live platform, you scroll down via the menu option. Let me share my screen. want to project. Share my screen. So this is what the login page looks like when you click on either the login button at the top here, or you click on menu, scroll down to indicator updating. The link has been sent to your email address, so you can check the link to the new WASSMO site in your email. You would have received it. So to access the indicator updating module, you click on indicator updating or you click on login, and it takes you to a login page where you have to input your username and your password. So most of you do not have it now, except for those that already remember their user credentials from before. But don't worry. After this, while we go on break and come back, we'll give everyone their passwords and you'll be able to log in. So I'm going to log in into the WASSMO system. If you notice, unlike the last time, we now have the African and Go on the same platform. So we took the feedback that we've received from member states to improve the system. And currently the AfricaSan and Go, the campaign is no longer collected via an Excel sheet. We have put it on the system. So if you're an AfricaSan and Go focal point, you would need to also meet us so that we would give you your credentials to access the platform. Most of the AfricaSan and Go focal points do not have access yet to the platform because this will be the first time they will be using the platform online, except for those that were already WASSMO focal points. So if you want to log in to the WASSMO campaign, you're going to choose WASSMO. If you want to log into the AfricaSan and Go campaign to impute data for the AfricaSan and Go campaign, you would have to choose AfricaSan and Go. So I want to log in as Emmanuel for a country test, and I want to log in to fill in the values for the WASSMO campaign. So if I click on login, it will load and it will take me .
Suivez juste ce qu'elle est en train de raconter. Après la pause, on va revenir dans les bons termes. Just wait. put a pause on your computer and listen to what she's explaining. After the break, you will now access live on your computer. Will support you efficiently. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So after you've imputed your login credentials and it's correct, you will get this welcome page. Welcome to the data input section, and gives you the information that we're expecting data for up to 31st December 2020, and gives you the contact of the IT persons to contact should you require any technical support while using the system. There is also a link down here to the manual for you to be able to access the manual. So if I click on this link, it takes me to a page where I get to see the user manual. So if at any point in time you forget how to use the system, once you log in, one of the first things you see is the link to the manual so you can refresh your memory. This is what the manual looks like. It's available in English and French. So if you scroll down, if you choose French, it takes you to the French session, and then you access all of the information as we set them here on the platform. So I'll go back and continue. If I click with commence with updating, I'm saying I understand everything I'm about to do, and let's proceed to impute the data. Now, this is what the updating system looks like. The updating module, I am logged in as a national focal point. So the privileges I have, the access I have is more than what a national team member has. So as a national focal point, I can add assign parameters to the different members of my team, so my team members, to the different members representing the different ministries of my national coordination platform. Now, we have over 180 parameters, and we know that it might be a challenge for one person to impute the data for all of those. That is the reason why my colleague went through the presentation as to the national coordination platform. And thankfully, over 70% of us here already have that platform. So what we expect the national focal point to do is to print out the list of the parameters, have an idea as to where the different data can be, which ministries the different data can be collected from. So if you download it and you take a look at it, you'll find parameters that you can get data from, for instance, the Ministry of Statistics. You can find data that you get from Ministry of Health. You find data that you can get from the Ministry of Finance, the different ministries. So to make your jobs easier as the focal point, we advise that you download this data, these indicator parameters, look at them, understand them. We went through them for the past 2 days, but yes, download them again, take a look at them, and identify which ones are in your ministry that you can confidently report on, and the ones that are not in your ministry that you need help from. You identify the focal persons in those ministries, and you now bring them, include their credentials on, add them. I'll show you how to add them. You add them on this platform. They will have their own username and credentials, and they will be able to access this platform and impute the values for that parameters you have assigned to them. If you have any challenge or you require any assistance training these persons on how to use the platform to impute their own data, we are always available. We can send you videos, we can send you materials, or we can even have a live training session for your country when you have gathered the different personnel. But it is important, and it is the role of the focal person to assign the different indicator parameters to those who are responsible for imputing the data into the system. If you can successfully do this, I would say 40% of your work is done. If you can identify the different persons in your ministry or in the other ministries that would impute this information, 40% of your work is done. What is now left for you to do as the focal point is to follow up. I'll show you here how you can see the different people you've assigned parameters to, if they have indeed imputed values for those parameters, and you can follow up to see the status of your country. Because as you're all gathered here, the onus falls on you to be able to coordinate this data collection campaign. We have chosen you as the focal point because it is you would relate to, and from you, we believe that we'll be able to relate to other members, the entire country through you. So we'll be able to collect the data for the different indicator parameters through you. So if I click on this icon at the very top that has different persons, if I click on it, the first menu is profile. Here I see my profile, my email, my username, my name. And if I want to update my password, I click on update password and I impute the password. I confirm the password and I click on save. So we'll be giving you generic passwords with your unique usernames, but we'll be giving you generic passwords. So we expect for data integrity, for protection, for security, that the first thing you do is to go in and you update your password to something that you can very easily remember. Although if at any point in time you forget the credentials to your system, you forget your password or your login credentials, you can send us an email and we'll be happy to reset the password and send it back to you, send you the new password. The next button is team management. This is what I have just explained in details right now. So for this new campaign, we have if you log into your profile, you see as the national focal point, you will see all of the team members that maybe have imputed data in the past, or some focal points have even changed. So we'll be able to do all of those syncing. So if you click on team management, you'll be able to see the different members that have been added on your team and the last time they logged in. So for this test country, I have these different users. So if I want to add someone, if I notice that there is someone that is not here from a particular ministry, I didn't add the different organizations, but if you impute for some credentials, if you impute them and you put in the organizations, you can see at a glance if, for instance, you have a member of the Ministry of Health already on your platform. So if the person you're going to be contacting already is on the platform, all you need to do is edit the person's credentials, maybe change the person's password if the person has forgotten their password. So you can change the password for your team members. You can update it and resend the username. But the first icon up here, username, is the username they will be using to log in. So you as the focal point, you're responsible for giving them their username and their password. If they've forgotten it, you can reset it. If you have any issues, let us know and we'll be happy to reset it. So if I click on add, if for any reason there is someone from a ministry that has not been added, or the previous person you used last year to collect the data, they are no longer the persons that have been given to you to impute the data for this year, all you need to do is click on add and you add the person's name. So for instance, I want to add a new person, Anna, and I want to add the email. I put in the password. I re-enter the password. And I specify the organization. I click on register. So the system will go through the information, vet it that is correct, and it will update the list for me, which it has just done. Anna at amcal.org. So when I've done this, I've added the different team members. I can click on close, and the information is saved. So the next thing after adding my team member, remember the first thing we did was to download the, print out the indicator parameters, identify the different indicator parameters that are going to be reported on by the different national team members. The third is to create or add the national team members on the platform if they are not there. And the fourth thing to do right now is to assign those indicator parameters to the different team members that have been added. So for instance, I added Anna, and she's from the Ministry of Statistics. So looking down, I know that, okay, Ministry of Statistics is responsible for giving me the total population. They should have it, or maybe I also have it in the Ministry of Water, whichever one. But if I identify anything that has to do with statistics, the Ministry of Statistics, I select them, scroll down, maybe things like total area, income inequality, assuming that that is under Ministry of Statistics and not the Ministry of Finance. I just identify the different indicator parameters, select them, tick the box. I'll select some more here so that we'll readily see what they look like. After selecting them, I go to this icon, the second icon, user assign. I click on user assign, and it tells me assign selected indicator parameters. And I click on the select a user. I choose the user from the drop down, and I click on OK. The system will run through, do some preliminary checks, and it will then assign, update this table, and let me know that the responsible person for this indicator is now Anna. Are we together? Simple, right? Okay. So after doing this, the next thing, my work is, at this point, my work is 50% done. Yeah, my work is 50% done. I have identified the different indicator parameters that are supposed to be reported on by the different ministries. I've added the members of those ministries to the platform. I have assigned the parameters to them, and everybody now has what they are supposed to work on. I am 50% done. My work is half done, but there is more to be done. That is where my role as the focal point now starts, which is the coordination. If I click on this next icon that has a good map in it, it shows me at a glance the different indicator parameters, who they've been assigned to, how many the persons have filled in, how many they are yet to fill in. So this is where my monitoring work starts from now. So for instance, I can see that I assigned Anna 6 parameters, only two, she has only filled in 2, and she's yet to fill in 4. Armed with this information, I am able to follow up on the different ministries to say, oh, you have been assigned, for instance, Patrice was assigned 7 parameters. He has not filled in any. Let's say Patrice is from the Ministry of Finance. He has not filled in any. We are running out of time. We need this data to be submitted at so and so time. We are running out of time. We need to validate the data. We need to do everything. So looking at this, it tells you at a glance how your country is faring. So if you look at it, you know exactly if your country is working, if the people you've assigned credentials to are working, if they've imputed any value. And this will also allow you to even pick up your phone and give them a call and say, oh, I found out that since you've been assigned these parameters, you've not been able to impute any data. Are you having any challenges? Do you need us to support you in any way? Is your login, are you not able to? Some people may tell you, oh, I forgot my login credentials. You look for the mail you used in sending them the credentials, you resend them. Oh, I encountered a challenge when I was imputing the data. I need to do this or I need to do that. Whatever the feedback you get, it lets you know exactly how you are faring. So if it is an action that you need to take to assist them, you take it. If it's an action that you need to inform, if it's a problem that you need to inform AMCAL about, you inform us. But if you finish assigning, you're expected to, at least once in 2 days, to go on the platform to check if the people that you've assigned parameters to are actually imputing the values for the parameters. This is very important. And for when they impute their parameter values, they will be able to, once they are done from their platform, they will be able to click on submit. When they click on submit, the information comes to you as the focal point. If they click on submit, it will show here that the submitted status is submitted. If it is not yet submitted, it will show you not yet submitted. If they submit the data to you, they can no longer edit the data because they have already submitted the data to you. But it is advised that in as much as they are imputing the data, you ensure that they submit it before you yourself click on submit. Because if you click on submit, what you're doing is you're closing the campaign for your country. If you click on submit, you're closing the campaign for your country. And by closing it, you're taking all of the data to AMCAL. AMCAL gets a notification that you have finalized and you submitted your data. Then we begin to, at the end of the campaign, we begin to analyze your data, make the necessary checks. And if there's any feedback that we need to return any data to you, we send you an email, we return the data. Maybe you need to do some more validation. You do some more validation and then you resubmit the data. But note that the earlier you finish your data and submit, the earlier we can validate the data and give you feedback. So it is very important that you follow up after assigning to see how each person is faring. And you cannot submit your data as a country. You cannot submit your data until this missing parameters column, everything is showing 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So even if you do not have the data for that particular, or the ministry that does not have the data for that particular parameter, you either put in not applicable, saying, which means that the information that you are requesting for is not applicable to your country. We had an example like that from yesterday. I think that was on water quality use. So if the data we are requesting for is not applicable or the system is not in place in your country, you can put in not applicable. The system will accept it. Or if the data that you have is inconclusive or is insufficient for you to report on, so you have something but it is not complete, you can choose the parameter, set the value as insufficient data. The system will accept that too. And if you have an actual value, you can impute the actual value. So these are the three types of value that you can impute on the system. But if it is a value, you must impute on the system. Otherwise, you cannot submit your country data. And if you don't submit your country data, it's assumed that you did not report at all. So it's important that you fill in all the information, even if it's not applicable or insufficient data, you fill in the information and you click on submit. That is when we say this particular country has submitted their data, and we'll work with exactly what you have submitted. If you want to beforehand, you know how we showed the indicator on the reporting module, the different indicators and the values. If you want to beforehand know the different indicators that your country would have would report on based on the values that you've imputed, if you click on calculated indicator values, it will show you the different indicators and the values. This second column is a column for value. So looking at this country test, it's showing us that it's only two indicators that if this data is submitted, is only two indicators that are able to be computed. Remember, we had mentioned that for a particular indicator, you have indicator parameters. For a particular indicator, you have the indicator parameters. The indicator parameters are used to calculate the indicator value. So if you miss imputing one indicator parameter that is used in the computation of one or more indicators, you would find that that indicator would have insufficient data against it because it is missing a parameter. So it is quite important that as much as possible, do not neglect any indicator parameter, because you do not know, or you can actually check the different indicators where that parameter is used in calculation. You can also export this data so you can have an idea of what your country would be when you finally, your country's profile when you finally submit the data. The next icon here is the export button. If you click on the export button, what it allows you to do is to download the indicator parameters in an Excel file. So we've had inputs, feedback from countries where they say, oh, they don't have stable internet connection to be able to impute the data, or no, this person is not tech savvy to be able to impute their data. It's fine. You can download the Excel sheet of your country and then you impute the values on the Excel sheet. When you're done imputing the values on the Excel sheet, you can, as the focal person, come back to click on import and you'll be able to import the file. If you experience any challenges doing this once more, you can always send us an email or even send us the Excel file and we'll be happy to upload it for you. But the system is pretty easy. Once you click on the export, it downloads a file. You impute the details of the indicator parameters, fill it in on the file. Maybe the persons the information you requested from the different ministries, they come back to you as as an Excel file, because we're expecting that as you're sending them, you're informing them, giving them their credentials, you're telling them the particular indicator parameters that you want values for. So they can either reply to you if they are not interested in going on the platform, they can reply to you and then you impute it on the Excel sheet, or you impute it yourself as the focal point, because as the focal point, you can impute values for all the indicator parameters. But the national team member or whoever you add can only impute values for the indicator parameters that have been assigned to them. So it is very important to note. You have the admin access, but anyone you give access to can only impute data for the parameters that they have been assigned. They can't edit other people's values, but they can see it. So this is the actual form for the imputing of data. This form is the same thing when the national team members log in. The only thing that changes, that differentiates the page of a national focal point and the national team member is the availability of these icons at the top. So the national team member would not have this icon because they cannot assign parameters to team members. The national team member will not be able to have this, will not see this icon because they cannot see the status of other people. It's not their business. Theirs is to impute data. So the icons here at the top for a national team member is reduced to 3. So the national team member also has the export, but the difference with their own export is that when they export, they can only edit values for indicator parameters that they have been assigned to, just as it is on the system. So if they have not been assigned values for that particular indicator parameters, if the indicator parameters have not been assigned to them, they cannot impute values for that indicator parameter on the Excel sheet. So this value from shows you see the name, the responsible person, the name of the indicator parameter. The value from gives you the baseline data, the most recent data imputed from the very last campaign. So the value from you're seeing here is the value from the 2020 campaign, of which the 2019 data was imputed. So you get to see it here because this is for the persons to have an idea of the values that they had imputed previously. So if they're asking for that value again, and maybe you're getting something like, oh no, the value does not exist, you are prompted to ask, but you reported on this last year, or the value was there last year. So what happened? So it's important that you always note the value from the previous last year, as it guides or gives you off the top of your head an idea of what you're expecting for the new value, although it may or may not be the same. So it doesn't mean that whatever you have here is exactly what you should now add in the next place. Is not supposed to be. So the next column is the value column. If I click on this icon and I want to enter the value, please note the unit. The unit is very, very, very important. If some of the challenges that we had from the last data campaign was incorrect units, the units were not, the values, when we used the units to bring out the accurate values, some of the values were outrageous and it renders the data invalid because we cannot edit the data. All we can do is point out the different areas that we've noticed and we send back for updates by the country. But one of the greatest challenge is the unit. Now, we've tried to make sure that there is a uniform unit of measurement across the different countries. So for some countries, their information is in millions or billions or whatever. but we expect that the value you should put in should be in 1,000 persons. For instance, you're looking for the population using basic drinking water services. What it means that if I put in 1,000 in this value, okay, if I click on this, remember what I mentioned, the 3 values that you can impute, the not applicable, the insufficient data, or the value. If I click on not applicable, it means that we don't have, maybe we don't even measure this, or it doesn't exist, or insufficient data, or we don't have enough data to report on it. But if I click on value, it allows me to, if I click on value, it allows me to impute the value. So if I click on 1,000, what the system sees this 1,000 is as is 1,000,000. That is 1 million, because the unit of measurement is 1,000 persons. So what the system would do is, if you see unit of measurement as 1,000 persons or 1,000, the system will automatically add 3 zeros to whatever value you impute. So if the amount that you have, the number you have for your population using basic drinking water services, rural in brackets, because it's for, we are talking about the rural, in the rural sector now, or in the rural area, the population using basic drinking water services. If you put in a value, if you want to put in a value that is in billion for the very large countries. So if I want to impute 1 billion, I will divide 1 billion, or whatever the amount is, the number is, by 1,000. Or I'll knock off 3 zeros from it. For some, when I divide it by 1,000, I'll end up with a decimal point at the end, which is fine. You can impute the decimal point. But you must always divide by 1,000 to get the value of the accurate value for the population. Otherwise, your value will be wrong. So if my value is 1 million and I go ahead to impute, I select value and I impute 1 million directly without taking cognizance of the unit, we will send back this data as invalid or unfit for use, because or even before we send it, we will not explicitly term it as unfit. We will flag it to ask, are you sure what you want to impute in that place is actually 1 billion or 1 million? Note that we are also going to look at your previous data before you put in 1,400,000 persons. So that's 1.4 million. So all of a sudden, you're now saying it is 1 billion. We'll put a question mark and ask you to please cross-check this data again to see if it's actually accurate. And if it is not, we expect you to come back and edit it. Otherwise, if this information is passed on to the validation team and all, by the time they check this population of drinking water services rural, they cross-check it with the urban, where you probably put in the correct value. Automatically, it will show that that previous value is unfit, and it will not be utilized in the reporting. So that's why that graph you saw my colleague demonstrate, where you had some really long blue lines, and then you had some red lines, maybe halfway. These are some of the things that happened to that data. When the validations are being done, we found out some mistakes that were done, and we had to remove those data from the reports and report on what we call the viable data. So I'll proceed to edit this back. If you want to edit, you just go back, click on value, and you put in what you want. So this is 1,000 persons, that is 1 million. The next column is the source. We expect you for each data input to give us the source of your data. Is it a document? Is it a journal? Is it a report? Whatever it is, if you even have, put in the name, if you have the URL, impute the URL, put in the page, just like you reference. Give us the information as to where we can verify the source of this data. If you're saying that population using basic drinking water services is now 1 million, okay, what is the source of that data? Was it a national census that was done? Was it a survey that was done? Where was it done? Or where is the report? Where can we go and find that information? So we don't just report values or report data in isolation. We need to be able to identify or point to the source of that data. The next column is the internal comments. Now, this is for you and your team members. If, for instance, as the focal point, you go in and you saw that 1 million there, and it was imputed by someone from the Ministry of Health or from some other department in the Ministry of Water Resources. If you go in there and you find it, just to be on your own, that's why we expect that even the focal points will be able to do their own internal validation. After the imputing of data, we expect the countries to do their own internal validation. So you can easily, as the focal person, point out some of these things. And if there is something you need to point out so that someone will be able to work on it, you impute the comments and it will be seen by only the members of your team in the country. After imputing the comments, editing the comments, you click on save, the person sees it and can work on it. However, for the public comment, if you impute anything in the public comment, it's visible to everyone. It's visible to AMCAL, it's visible to the general public. So for instance, if we're shown how to do our conversions for maybe finance, converting it to USD, you can use this public comment to impute the conversion rate that you used in getting that value in USD. It's for data, how do I call it now? Data security or data verification purposes. So if just in case when they go to the source that you cited in your document, it is showing the value in your local currency, and you're expected to report your data in USD for uniformity. If you put it in the public comment saying you used so and so value, the conversion rate of $1 to maybe 500 or 580 CFAs, you put it there, it enables whoever is seeing the data to know that, okay, your source is showing your data in CFAs, but what actually you are reporting is in USD. But this is the conversion rate that you used in the conversion to get the USD value. So this comment, you can utilize it to clarify any information that you feel would be fuzzy to the general public. So if you click on info, if at any point in time you're having difficulty understanding what an indicator is, or what is being used for, or the indicator parameter, where it's being used and all, you can always click on the details button. If you click on the details button, it shows you the information for the indicator. Let me go to a more complex one. This is very straightforward and easy, so it doesn't have much. So let me look for one that is that needs more clarification. Total transboundary basin area within the country. I'm looking for one that is quite detailed or that is quite complex. But when you click on the details button, those information that you have in the guidance document, the information you have in the guidance document that shows you the calculation, the formula, the explanation, it's also represented here. So once you click on details, it shows you the full description, because there's a limit to the naming that can be put in here. But if you click on details, it gives you the full information as to the indicator parameter and the particular indicators that use that value for computation. For instance, something like total area, it is used in the computation of different things. Total population is used in the computation of different indicators. So things like that are important. And that is that for imputing of data. So to recap, you impute the value, you note the unit of measurement, impute the source, impute the comment, internal comment if you have any, impute the public comment if you have any, view the details anytime you are in doubt as to what is expected of you, and automatically as you're imputing the data, it is saving the information. As you're imputing the data, the information is being saved. If you note, as you go down, the units change. For instance, this is in million USD per year. That's the national budget allocated to sanitation. So based on whatever the unit is, you need to divide by that unit and report the value. Thank you very much. So if we after this, I think we'll go for our break, the tea break. And by the time we return, everyone will be able to access their platform and we'll go through the steps together. Thank you.
OK, merci. Donc, on va à la pause pour 10 minutes. Vous pouvez ramener la pause ici. On continue vite pour clôturer. OK? On va faire un peu comme dans l'Amérique. Oui, il y a... On va bouffer d'abord, après on revient, non, Victor? Qu'est-ce que tu en penses? Mais c'est très chaud. Le mail, je t'envoie ça, je t'ai envoyé, vérifie ton mail. OK, je viens vérifier. OK, s'il vous plaît, allons prendre le snack, on revient et on continue, s'il vous plaît. Il y a des femmes qui doivent aller au marché. Donc, si vous avez des questions, vous notez, on va répondre après. Allez-y à la pause, ramenez le snack ici. On finit, s'il vous plaît. Les femmes doivent aller au marché. Et les hommes aussi. On doit acheter les choses pour madame. Sinon, c'est très grave. I don't want ATLA to come to my door. OK. Donc, on va continuer. Nous excuser. On a juste des problèmes techniques avec l'énergie. On va attendre. On aura besoin de toute attention.
We now going to
S'il vous plaît, les 15 prochaines minutes, on aura besoin de votre attention pour finaliser ce processus. S'il vous plaît. Genevieve, they are waiting for you to set their WhatsApp. OK. OK. Donc, essayez déjà d'ouvrir la page, s'il vous plaît, au lien qu'on vous a envoyé en ligne. Essayez d'ouvrir la page. Il y a mon collègue qui passe au niveau de chaque table pour vous aider à créer votre identifiant. C'est uniquement pour les pays, ce n'est pas pour les institutions. Donc, UNICEF et JWP, vous êtes exclus. Oui, l'UNICEF va vous appuyer sur ça. Donc, madame peut donner son mot de passe à Michel Ange. Oui, parfait. N'a qu'à venir. OK? Victor, c'est bon maintenant? Tu as reçu mon mail, non? Ah, OK. Donc, tu cliques sur le lien. Ah bon? Ça ne charge pas ton ordinateur. OK. Attends, elle va venir. Dès qu'il est là, il va t'aider à faire. Ah, là, c'est l'ordinateur. Oui. OK. Pour ceux qui n'ont pas encore reçu d'identifiant, veuillez patienter. Mon collègue Emmanuel est en train de passer au niveau de chaque table, s'il vous plaît. OK? OK, c'est bon? Emma? Sénégal has issue. Il arrive, moi je ne connais pas trop dans ça. Je ne m'y connais pas trop dans... C'est bon, voilà ça, non? Oui. Non, c'était le lien pour avoir accès à la page. Tu vas maintenant venir mettre les mots de passe. Oui. Oui. À la maison, il faut les faire. On n'a pas encore émis le lien. qu'on a envoyé. Donc maintenant, il faut confirmer le mail que vous avez envoyé maintenant. On va y mettre vos photos pour voyager demain. Ah, ok, d'accord. Oh, ok, ok, ok. Ça n'est pas ça. Non, je vais la... Et le départ, c'était aujourd'hui. D'accord, ok. Bon, c'est qu'on va faire. Je vais l'appeler pour qu'il explique quoi s'il y a un départ pour lui. Il ne sait pas s'il y a encore de choses. Ça, tu vas regarder pour elle. OK. Donc, s'il vous plaît, veuillez accueillir le directeur en charge de l'eau du Bénin. Il est là pour la clôture au nom du ministre. Donc, s'il vous plaît, veuillez vous lever.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Oui. Il est là au nom du ministre pour la cérémonie de clôture de notre atelier. Merci beaucoup. Merci, monsieur le directeur. C'est comment avec les mots de passe? C'est bon? La route n'est pas encore arrivée chez vous. Quel est le problème, madame? Est-ce que vous avez tous reçu des mots de passe pour le WASSMO? Combien de tables pour le WASSMO? How many tables for the WASSMO, for the passport? How many tables? Capo Verde, Sao Tome, you have received the passport for the WASSMO. Bissau, c'est bon? D'accord. Vous pouvez cliquer sur commencer la mise à jour. Vous cliquez. C'est ce qu'on a, c'est le mot de passe qu'on a donné à. Non. C'est pas le mot de passe là. C'est pas ça. C'est pas ça. C'est pas ce mot de passe là. Il y a un nouveau mot de passe. Oui, c'est bon. Ça, c'est le WASSMO. Aïssata Sissé. Ça. Non, non. This one is Algerian. OK, tout le monde a le WASSMO maintenant. Emma, Bissau, Sao Tome. OK, il arrive. Tout le monde a le WASSMO. Qui encore? La RDC, le Congo, lequel? Quel pays? Cameroun. Lequel encore? La Guinée. Okay. So, Emmanuel, we still have 3 countries: Congo, Guinea, and Cameroon. Amel Aluna. Is it okay now? Email. C'est So, what is their ID? So, it's not the name of the country. It's ID. Like the other one. Allô, Mensa? Tu les as vus? Ça va? Ah, ok. Ah, ok. Tu peux me passer, pardon. Ok, tout le monde a les codes du WASSMO. C'est bon? Emma? Guinée? Yes. Guinée, c'est quel? C'est le WASSMO ou bien Camara a déjà le WASSMO? Camara, c'est bon? On va le faire pour toi après, madame, pour l'assainissement. So, can we start the sanitation? Where is the passport of money? de AfricaSan. OK. Pour ceux qui ont le WASSMO, c'est comment? C'est bon, la page du WASSMO? OK. Pour ceux qui ont le WASSMO, c'est comment? C'est comment? C'est bon? Vous avez pu entrer. C'est joli, hein? On me dit que c'est joli. C'est une jolie dame, hein? On peut toujours la doter. OK, donc, OK, le Togo dit qu'il est content. Donc, au niveau du système du WASSMO, vous allez voir les différents paramètres. OK? Qui voudrait que je passe sur son... Je vérifie le système. OK, je vais voir pour mes amis du Sénégal. Quel souci? Ça, c'est un petit. On va gérer ça. Oui, normalement, ça, c'est la valeur de 2019. OK, donc on va améliorer cela. Donc, il y a le Sénégal qui fait certaines remarques au niveau de la plateforme pour francophones. OK? Donc, au niveau de la plateforme des francophones, il y a une partie, on a mis valeur. On a juste mis valeur. Donc, normalement, ça doit être valeur de 2019. On va corriger cela au niveau informatique. OK? Il y a la partie détail. Le détail sur les indicateurs n'est pas encore inséré, apparemment, sur la section francophone. Veuillez vérifier ce détail sur votre système. Détail, où on fait la description de l'indicateur. C'est inséré? C'est détail. Vous allez voir info détail. Mokhtar, je pense que c'est... Mokhtar, il faut mettre à jour ton truc. Info, non, c'est bon, je pense que c'est là. Pardon? OK, donc c'est bon. Ma collègue est en train de passer là. Vous avez encore des soucis sur le WASSMO? OK. OK, Geneviève? Geneviève? So, the export file is not working for some of the francophone export. Maybe you know that to discover the export file. The export. Yeah. So the export is not working, and there is a section on the value that we need to update in the French site. Vous avez encore identifié des soucis? Ça automé, c'est bon? OK, très bien. Oui. Emma, do you have chat in your list? Add chat, please. OK, voilà comment on va procéder. OK, s'il vous plaît, votre attention. S'il vous plaît. Donc, on doit clôturer officiellement l'atelier, OK, mais on ne va pas quitter la salle. On va continuer à travailler après la clôture officielle. Donc, c'est en fonction de... S'il vous plaît, s'il vous plaît. On sait qu'on est... Oui. On va clôturer officiellement l'atelier et on va continuer 30 minutes après, s'il vous plaît. OK? D'accord. Merci beaucoup. Donc, veuillez prêter juste quelques minutes d'attention à nos officiels pour qu'on puisse clôturer officiellement l'atelier et ensuite on va continuer 30 minutes et aller à la pause. Et chacun ira au marché. On va même vous accompagner au marché. OK? Je vais vous aider à prendre les motos et autres. On va acheter ananas et autres. OK? Bon, merci beaucoup. OK, merci. Donc, au niveau du podium, là, on aura notre ami Janvier Bazoum, le représentant de la CEDEAO, Janvier Bazoum, le représentant du secrétaire exécutif de AMCAO, le Conseil des ministres africains en charge de l'eau, et le directeur en charge de l'eau du ministère de l'eau et des mines du Bénin. Je pense que c'est bien ça. OK, merci. Donc, sans plus tarder, pour la cérémonie de clôture, on va commencer par un mot de la part de la CEDEAO. Ensuite, Amkao dira aussi quelque chose par rapport à l'atelier. Et enfin, le directeur va clôturer officiellement cet atelier de 3 jours organisé dans ce beau pays du Bénin. Merci beaucoup. Donc, Janvier, à toi la parole. Merci.
C'est bien. Monsieur le directeur des ressources en eau, représentant le ministre en charge de l'eau du Bénin, Monsieur le représentant du secrétaire exécutif AMCAO, Mesdames et Messieurs les points focaux, représentants des pays, points focaux AfricaSan et WASSMO, Monsieur les représentants du Global Water Partnership, Mesdames et Messieurs, chers invités, au nom donc du commissaire en charge de l'agriculture et des ressources en eau, la CEDEAO, je prends la parole à cette cérémonie de clôture pour remercier et féliciter les participants pour ces 3 jours de formation sur le suivi et le reportage des indicateurs WASSMO et AfricaSan. Au cours de ces 3 jours, vous avez été formés aux 7 thématiques du système WASSMO sur les indicateurs de AfricaSan, sur donc également la mise en place des plateformes nationales de coordination. J'ose espérer qu'au sortir de cette formation, vous êtes outillés pour conduire le processus de collecte de données en vue du reporting du système WASSMO et AfricaSan. Mesdames et messieurs, pour réussir ce processus de reporting, j'exhorte l'ensemble des pays à mettre en place les plateformes nationales de coordination pour une meilleure coordination du processus et également pour une implication réelle de tous les acteurs du système. Mesdames et messieurs, le système panafricain du reporting et de suivi-évaluation du secteur de l'eau en Afrique est un outil essentiel pour améliorer la gouvernance du secteur de l'eau et de l'assainissement en Afrique. Le renseignement de cette plateforme ou bien de ces systèmes WASSMO et AfricaSan par les pays permet de suivre les performances réalisées par chaque pays dans le secteur de l'eau et de l'assainissement. C'est pourquoi, au nom donc de la CEDEAO, j'exhorte et encourage les pays à s'engager et à renseigner ces plateformes, à les mettre à jour avec des données de qualité. Pour terminer mes propos, je tiens encore une fois à remercier le gouvernement béninois pour avoir accueilli cette rencontre et donc permis de donner les conditions pour le succès de cette rencontre. Je dis également merci à AMCAO pour avoir associé la CEDEAO dans le processus et le suivi du système WASSMO. Je vous remercie.
OK. Merci beaucoup, Janvier, pour ces mots. Donc, monsieur le directeur, ici dans la salle, je voulais de vous briefer. On a les représentants des pays de l'Afrique de l'Ouest. Dans la majorité des pays de l'Afrique du centre sont présents ici, dans les points focaux du WASSMO et les points focaux assainissement. Nous avons environ 2 points focaux par pays pour l'Afrique de l'Ouest et du centre. L'ensemble des pays de la CEDEAO sont représentés, uniquement le Cap-Vert qui n'a pas pu faire le déplacement. En Afrique centrale aussi, on a l'ensemble des pays qui sont représentés, si je ne me trompe pas. On a tous les pays de l'Afrique centrale qui sont représentés dans la salle. Merci. Donc, Thomas, over to you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Director of Ceremonies. The Director General in the Ministry of Water and Mines of the Republic of Benin, the representative of ECOWAS, Monsieur Genva Bansoum, the representative of ACAS, distinguished AMCO TAC members, AMCO focal points, and the AMCO M&E focal points, partners and experts. Let me also recognize the presence of representatives from GWP. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Executive Secretary, Dr. Rashid Mbazira, I would like to extend our sincere gratitude and appreciation to the government of Benin for hosting us here in Cotonou and for the support and hospitality we have received throughout the training period. Director General, please extend our appreciation to the Honorable Minister of Energy and Water. I have no doubt that the 3 days of our engagement and deliberations on how to improve the quality of data for the WASSMO and the AfricaSan monitoring and reporting has been worthwhile. I'm sure that our capacities as member states on WASSMO and AfricaSan monitoring and reporting have been improved. It is our expectation that with this training, the number of member states reporting their data into WASSMO will increase. It will be very exciting if 50 or more of the member states are able to report their data during this year's WASSMO data collection campaign. We also expect member states to report at least more than 90% of the 44 indicators of the WASSMO. We hope that this training has equipped us well to do this. This is the only way the quality of our reports to the African Union heads of states and government can be improved. We should always remember that high quality, regular reporting of the status of water and sanitation sector of our dear continent to our African Union heads of state is the only sure way we can raise the profile of the sector at that highest political level. We all need to join hands to change the narrative of 400 million of our brothers and sisters not having access to basic water services, 700 million not having access to basic sanitation services, and we're still 250 million still practicing open defecation. Evidence-based policy direction at the highest political level of the African Union heads of state and government has the potential of changing this alarming narrative. This is where high-quality WASSMO and AfricaSan reports come in handy. Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, let me also emphasize that the AIP scorecard is an integral part of the WASSMO, and we encourage you to report on this as well in a bid to advocate for more sector financing. Let me also give you this assurance that AMCO is very committed to support you member states in this whole process of data collection for the preparation of the 2022 WASSMO report. We will also support you in the operationalization of the national coordination platforms, where our expertise shall also be needed. To this end, please do not hesitate to contact the AMCO help desk should you need any support as we embark on this year's WASSMO data collection campaign. On this note, and on behalf of the Executive Secretary, I now officially announce the launch of the 2022 Water and Sanitation Sector Data Collection Campaign with effect from today, the 12th of May 2022 until 15th of July 2022. I wish you safe travels back home, and I thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Thomas Manda, the representative of AMCO Executive Secretary, for this kind word and for launching this campaign until July 2022. So now I'll give the floor to the Director in charge of water of the Ministry of Mines and Water of Republic of Benin.
Merci beaucoup, monsieur le modérateur. Bonjour, mesdames et messieurs, en terre hospitalière béninoise. Je vais un peu tordre le cou, si vous le permettez, à la cérémonie classique de clôture. Et je voudrais inviter l'un des participants en 1 minute 30 à nous faire un résumé des principaux acquis pour lui de cette formation.
Quelqu'un pour faire un résumé à monsieur le directeur, s'il vous plaît? Volontaire. Angie, il savait là.
I stand on existing protocol. For this 3 days, like the objective that we'll be going through the training for the WASSMO Ungo reporting platform. And so these past days we were introduced to the system and the different aspects of the WASSMO Ungo system. Now the two are together. So for the AfricaSan focal person and also for the WASSMO focal points. So today now we're actually going through the practical aspects to be able to input our data from our different countries and also to be able to go back and be able to view what it is we have input in the system for the country, how the focal point is supposed to assess the system and then assign, the practical aspect of real, now that the campaign is declared open. So we are now equipped to go back home and then run the meetings, the coordination meetings for our various countries, have the stakeholders, invite them in, speak to them also about what we have learned here and be able to gather the data from the different sectors because it's multi-sectoral, from the different sectors for the country and be able to upload and send the reports to AMCAO for the countries. And from here, we are also able to know that there are some issues, that there are errors while we submitted the last one. And so we have taken note of that and hoping that this cycle now will make amends and have better quality data that will be submitted for the countries. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Hugo, for this summarizing what we went through during the 3 days of our workshop. So, Mr. Director.
Merci beaucoup. Monsieur le représentant de la CEDEAO, monsieur le représentant du secrétaire exécutif de AMCAO, mesdames les directrices générales, monsieur et madame les points focaux WASSMO, monsieur, madame les points focaux AfricaSan, monsieur, madame du GWP et du secrétariat exécutif en ligne, honorables invités, mesdames et messieurs, en vos rangs, grades et qualités, tout protocole respecté. Je voudrais avant tout propos vous présenter mes excuses de n'avoir pas pu me joindre à vous depuis le début de cet important atelier de formation dû à mon agenda extrêmement chargé. Comme vous le savez, puisque j'ai eu déjà par le passé, il y a quelques semaines, à rencontrer certains parmi vous, j'ai été installé à la tête de la Direction générale de l'eau du Bénin. Ça fait environ juste 2 mois. Donc, vous imaginez la tâche à laquelle je suis soumise en termes de maîtrise et de prise en main des dossiers différents et urgents. J'ai demandé avant tout propos qu'une petite synthèse d'1 minute et demie soit faite en termes de restitution ou de principaux acquis de cet atelier pour marteler encore une fois de plus, à la suite de mes 2 prédécesseurs, l'importance aujourd'hui de cet atelier pour le secteur de l'eau et de l'assainissement. Comme vous le savez, mesdames et messieurs, aujourd'hui, nous avons une importante responsabilité qui va au-delà de nos présences respectives ici. Nous devons prendre des engagements. Le tableau en termes de renseignement des indicateurs n'est pas reluisant. Je ne vous apprends rien. Je crois que les formateurs ont eu déjà à revenir là-dessus. Donc, nous avons désormais l'obligation d'opérationnaliser tous les outils de suivi-évaluation que nous avons appris ici, tous les outils de renseignement, surtout de concertation des différentes parties prenantes, afin qu'un pas, un réel pas, soit fait en avant dans nos pays respectifs en matière donc de suivi des indicateurs et de façon générale des évolutions dans le secteur de l'eau et de l'assainissement. Nous avons également un engagement important en termes de portage politique, de sensibilisation et de plaidoyer auprès de nos différents États afin que l'indicatif de 0,5% du PIB soit effectivement consacré au financement du sous-secteur dans nos pays respectifs. Je voudrais croire que les directeurs, les directrices ici présentes, les différents points focaux, les différents représentants, une fois de retour chez eux, élaboreront une feuille de route afin que ces actions soient actées d'ici la fin de cette année. Mesdames et messieurs, en vos rangs, grades et qualités, comme vous le savez, nous venons de finir une crise. C'est une prétention de dire que nous venons de finir, mais c'est le vœu de tout le monde que la crise de la COVID qui nous a tous secoués soit définitivement derrière nous. Et cette crise est venue accentuer le manque de financement. Cette crise est venue accentuer la lourdeur que nous avons l'habitude de vivre dans les 2 secteurs de l'eau et de l'assainissement en termes d'action phare, en termes de résultats concrets, devant booster les différents efforts sans relâche que chacun de nous faisons dans nos États respectifs. Cela signifie qu'aujourd'hui, nous devons redoubler d'efforts afin de rattraper ce gap que la COVID-19 est venue causer dans l'atteinte des ODD. Je ne voudrais pas être long, mais j'ai voulu insister particulièrement sur ces différents éléments afin que cette formation soit vraiment un boost pour chacun de nous et que nous puissions prendre conscience que l'avenir du secteur, puisque nous ne travaillons pas seulement pour nous, nous travaillons pour les communautés vulnérables d'aujourd'hui et nous travaillons pour anticiper sur les problèmes de demain. Donc, je voudrais croire que chacun de nous est suffisamment sensibilisé et que des engagements seront pris pour vraiment aller de l'avant dans ces 2 secteurs. J'ai ouï dire que les organisateurs vous ont déjà calé un programme pour aller visiter les trésors royaux exposés au niveau de la présidence du Bénin. Et vous savez que tout ce que nous faisons est toujours en arrimage avec notre culture, qui est l'essence même, justement, de notre identité. Donc, c'est sur ces mots que je voudrais déclarer clos cet atelier de formation à l'intention pour le système de rapportage de suivi du secteur de l'eau, de l'assainissement, WASSMO et le suivi des engagements AfricaSan Gore. Je vous souhaite une bonne visite de nos trésors royaux. Je souhaite à ceux qui vont passer encore plus de temps au Bénin de faire un tour, visiter nos vestiges historiques. Je sais que le temps est court, mais je vous rassure, ça en vaut la peine de décompresser après cet atelier important et je souhaite bon retour à chacun de vous. Merci beaucoup.
OK. Merci beaucoup, monsieur le directeur, pour ces mots. Je pense qu'on va visiter le musée à la fin de cet atelier d'ici 14 heures. Donc, merci pour tous. Merci à Janvier et aux représentants de IS également pour ces mots. Donc, après, on ira tous visiter le musée. Il y a aussi, je pense, il y a la statue qu'on est en train de construire là au niveau du boulevard. Apparemment, c'est la statue de Gabriel, non, sorry, Detassi Akbe. Je pense que le directeur peut me confirmer la grande statuette là.
Il s'agit en fait d'une statue qui retrace un peu une histoire très importante que les femmes amazones, certains d'entre vous ont eu à en entendre parler. C'est un hommage vibrant rendu aux femmes braves qui ont combattu sans relâche par le passé et qui ont montré aujourd'hui l'importance. Je vois les dames sourire. C'est un hommage que nous vous rendons. Je voudrais quand même qu'on ne quitte pas la salle sans applaudir les braves dames. Donc, la statue n'est pas encore finie, elle est en cours de finition, mais il y a une histoire qui vous sera racontée concernant cette statue lorsque vous serez à la visite des trésors royaux à la présidence de la République. Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup, monsieur le directeur. Donc, on peut se lever juste pour permettre au directeur de... S'il vous plaît. Directeur général de l'eau. OK, merci beaucoup. Donc, comme c'est la fin de la cérémonie officielle, on continue avec le WASSMO, s'il vous plaît, et AfricaSan. C'est juste pour les paramétrages là. Hein. Après, on se sépare, s'il vous plaît. Pardon? Oui, s'il vous plaît, juste quelques minutes, on finit les paramétrages. Je pense, Emmanuel, c'est bon maintenant. C'est bon. So everything is set for all of you. Ça veut dire